Okay, so I'm doing chapter 22 of ethics, and this is the case of school lunches. Susan Bennett, who is an anchor for the morning news in the Southwest, investigates and reports consumer complaints and concerns while trying to create a response and narrative. She received a letter from a father who was concerned about his daughter's school cafeteria food. She attends a private elementary school, and he thinks that they are unhealthy, and he blames some of her health issues by how unhealthy the food was. Some of the menu items were chicken fried steak, chili dogs, and nachos. She talked to the father and health experts, and health experts said that it's important to have a balanced meal because this could be their only meal. I know, like, when I went to public school, we would have to have at least one vegetable or one fruit with our meal. The school didn't comment, like, they didn't want to have an interview, so she settled with a written statement. Several hours before the story was to air, the station's sales manager and general manager told the news director that they wouldn't run the story. Why would they not run the story? Because a local advertiser with ties to the school threatened to pull their advertising from the station unless the story was dropped. So the challenge was to, put the story on air. The advertiser, the sponsor, I should say, is concerned because, well, no, the news station was concerned because the sponsor is their biggest sponsor. And this sponsor has ties with the school that has the unhealthy lunches. The sponsor's child and grandchildren goes to the school, and they contribute large amounts of money to the school as well. They didn't want bad press against the school that they were affiliated with, so the station immediately backed down and ordered that the story would be pulled since they didn't want to lose a sponsor. The news director said that the story would be pulled until things cooled down. Even though after things cooled down, the station never ran the story. And so the Society of Professional Journalists state that favored treatment to advertisers, donors, or any other special interests and resist an internal or external pressure to influence news and coverage. And the RTDNA code suggests ways for stations to deal with advertiser pressures. Trust, respect, communication between staff and manager, and business side managers should be encouraged to understand that journalistic independence and credibility are among the station's most precious commodities. News operations should not show favoritism to advertisers. So the aftermath of this case was Bennett just started to self-censor since her story was never aired because they didn't want to lose their biggest sponsor. So Bennett changes her approach as she continues to work at this station. She engages in self-censorship, like I said before, by pitching a report beforehand and, really seeing how is this story going to affect the news station or anybody affiliated with it. She steers clear of stories that may cause controversy with advertisers and sponsors. And with this case, honestly, I think that is unfair because school lunches are really unhealthy. Like, some of the school lunches that I remember seeing were unhealthy until about 2012 when Michelle Obama came in and started to put more healthy lunches in the public system. But I think it's unfair that a sponsor has the ability to basically censor journalism because news stations are so concerned with money funding. I think that is unfair, and that sponsors should just understand that you can't really change the narrative, and that, I think the public needs to know what these schools are feeding their children. So